to Upgrade Your Life. I'm Lizzie Rovsek.
And I'm Cayla Kraft.
And we are bringing you inspiring stories to help you upgrade your life to the highest level of success, wealth, and health.
Today we have Sarah Pendrick. She's an international speaker, a talk show host, and the original girl that started the Women Supporting Women movement. So welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. Hi, guys. I'm so excited. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Yeah.
So you travel all over the world, speaking primarily to women.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to know, what was the most impactful scenario that you've had with a woman or a group of women on your travels around the world? Like, what was like one moment, one story that you can remember that you were like, wow, I'm really making a difference?
Okay, so as Cayla knows, I'm very bad at just giving one example, but I will try. I think every time I'm around women, even today, it's so impactful when we share our stories and connect. And that's just like being on stage and connecting and seeing their faces. I have a lot of stories with afterwards how women have come up to me and said, like, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being so vulnerable. Thank you for bringing us together, because this is what has changed my life, especially when I go to the colleges. It's mind-blowing, and so many women feel alone, like they can't talk about what they're going through. And so that's made the biggest impact for me, is just being able to have women share and know that they're not alone.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you feel like most women struggle with? Some of the top things, like what would they be?
Confidence.
Yeah.
Caring what other people think.
Other women?
Yeah.
Women can be the harshest critics.
Yeah.
Why do you think so many women have that confidence issue?
So there's really not one answer for that. We all have a different story. Deep down, as different as we are, we all want to be seen, but it starts from our childhood. Someone that told us that we couldn't do something that's happened to us, someone that didn't believe in us. It's really like a string of things that have happened throughout our life.
Do you have a memory of you in your childhood where you had that thought that you didn't believe in yourself?
I definitely have times that I've doubted myself, and I still do, especially when we're getting to the next level. I'm fortunate that I just came out so excited and knowing, like, inherently what I was here to do on this planet. So of course I have times of doubt, but I push through. So there's been times that I'll say to myself, can I really do this? Or who am I to do this? Of course, but it's just about your mindset and making a choice. Am I going to go down that road of I can't do this, or I'm going to go for it anyway?
So many of us, we're looking for that permission slip. We want somebody to come around and sign it for us and say, hey, you know, like, it's your turn to start a talk show.
Yes.
You know, and how do you validate yourself? What is a tool that you do that you're like, I am worthy of this?
So definitely the permission slip. Oh my gosh, it's so big with women. That's why, that's what keeps me from going for what I want, is to be the permission for other women.
Oh, okay.
So that's literally what makes me make any moves, is my mission. And I'm someone that's up and down in feelings. I feel like so strongly for humans. So you can stay in bed and choose to be sad about something that happened, or you can get up and make your mission bigger than your feelings. And that is one choice that I make daily, and that keeps me going.
So it's just always a choice.
Always a choice. Everything's a choice. Ask empowering questions, or ask, oh, why did this happen to me?
Well, I was recently listening to one of your interviews or podcasts, and you were saying that it was a calling that you've always had your whole life to just help other women. And that's, I feel like inside of us, we all want that, but it's not that natural for some women to help other women. It's always like, oh, I learned this. I'm not going to show you any of my secrets. I'm going to keep this all to myself. I figured out the secret and no one's going to know. And so, you know, you're a beautiful woman who goes all around the world. And like, for you to have that calling, I mean, where do you think that calling came from?
From God.
From God.
Yeah.
Right?
Just from my purpose of knowing. And when you give back, you guys both know this, when you give back, the universe gives you more. And it's also like you get more of that love for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But you're so right about women being like, I'm going to keep this a secret. Or if I do this and then she does it, then I won't be. It's all about thinking that you're not good enough. But there's really room for all of us. And the more that you share your secrets, the more that you get back in return. I truly, truly stand by that and believe that. You know this about me, Cayla. Like, I'm so about sharing and connecting and supporting other women.
That's so refreshing.
Yeah, and I feel like the more that all of us can be more connected, the more women are going to change and step into that new, like, really like that women supporting women.
Exactly.
And what does it look like for you? Like when you're going out there and you're talking to people about confidence, what do people say like that they are really like, you know, like it's okay, I have this confidence issue because somebody called me fat when I was younger.
Yeah.
That was my story for a long time, but what do you say to them?
Again, it's so, like, I'm sure you guys both get this when they're like, oh, it's easier said than done.
Right. I know that's what people are thinking right now.
100%, but that's the thing. That's your choice.
Yep.
Right.
So you're going to choose to say it's easier said than done and not try something new and stay exactly where you are.
And the story repeats
Yeah,
itself
and the
over
story
and over
repeats
again.
itself.
Is
Like,
there a mantra that you say, like, so I'm going to make better choices today. I'm going to make better choices today. Does that work?
I absolutely think that works. And for me, it's okay, I could wake up having a bad day and I can continue the loop. Or I could stop it right now and be like, why is this happening? It's all about talking to yourself. And I totally believe in affirmations as well. Each season that I've been in, I've done different things, but just having that awareness and trying it. Like some people want to stay stuck in their story and say, oh, that's really easy. Well, that happened for you because you have this or you don't have this. And it's like, okay, stay there. Nothing's going to change if you make that choice.
And I know like a lot of women, and I think men do this too, actually. I know for a fact men do this. They take things personally, right? It's like, oh, if I didn't get invited to that or I didn't get asked to speak at that, then there's something wrong with me. They don't like me. Like we have this whole narrative. And it seems like for me, like I know that this personally about you, that you're always working on not taking things personally. And that's one of the agreements like I live my life by too.
The 4 agreements. That's a big one. Yeah.
I was just listening to that yesterday.
Yeah.
So funny.
It's really powerful.
It's it's one of my favorite books. And like one of the questions I ask myself every morning is like, what assumptions are you making today? Because when we're making assumptions, we're in like a gel, basically. So what do you say to people that they take everything personally? We all have those people in our lives too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So that's been a journey as well. And you're so right. I have to catch myself to say, don't take this personally. 100%.
And some people do just organically, you know.
Yeah. And I think the thing that's really helpful is that it's okay. You don't have to be invited to everything. It doesn't measure how good or like how amazing you are or not. But another thing is, the biggest thing for me is don't make an assumption. You have no idea, like you said, like you have no idea why that was. And something that's really great, and I would say to everyone watching, is ask. Like don't stand back, ask them, hey, you're my good friend. You didn't ask me to do this or you didn't invite me here. I'm telling myself a story that I'm not good enough or you didn't want me around your other friends or I'm not good enough to speak here. Do you have anything to say to that? And give them a chance to have a clearing conversation. Like it was already full or I didn't think that you wanted to do that. So many times I've heard people think like, I didn't think you'd be interested in that. But if I didn't ask the question and clear it, I could have made up a whole story loop in my head. Just
the other day, I found out one of my girlfriends was having a birthday party and I was like, well, it's tomorrow and I wasn't invited. And so I just texted the girl and I was like, hey, like, are you having a birthday party? Because like, you know, what's going on? And she's like, yeah, she's like, I totally thought you were busy, but I'm having one tomorrow night. Do you want to come? And then she ended up inviting some more people too, because she was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize like just assuming was gonna cause issues. And I was like, yeah, my feelings would have been hurt if I wasn't invited. So instead of like making up the story, I just straight up texted her and said, hey.
And if you didn't text her, you could have just been like, oh, I guess we're really not friends.
And totally. It would have
had
been
a relationship that wasn't strong anymore.
I
do that too. I'm getting much better at being like, okay, what's going on?
What's the deal?
All you girls went and did something, how come it wasn't? And usually I'm someone that just stays quiet. So it's just, you know, being able to let it out.
Exactly. And so if someone said that to me at an event, you're obviously correcting that and being aware. I would be like, how's that working out for you? You know, if you're going to stay like that and not call people forth and let them know and not blaming them, just being like, this is the story that I'm telling myself when you do this.
And you let me, you're my friend. So you want to tell me the truth.
What's
really going on?
Exactly.
Because we all get sensitive and, you know, it's one of the things that happens with women and men too, you know, it's not just
100%
neutral. But I want to ask you, because you have to be so positive and motivational and you travel all over the world. What about those days when you don't feel positive or motivational and you're like, I have to go talk to 20,000 people today? Or, you know, I mean, because we all have our great days and we all have our down days. I mean, that's just human nature. So what do you do to get yourself up and going when you have those like moments?
So I will be totally upfront that I have struggled with that in the past, but I'm still going to do it anyways.
Right.
But now I come from a place of that my mission is stronger than anything else. So of course I'm going to do that. Of course I'm going to have bad days. But what I'm getting the opportunity to go do is what I asked for.
Yes.
So I'm going to step into that. And I've gotten really good at coming from a place like that and being totally like declaring who I am and really, really believing that what you think you become. So I have a mission that I love. It's not someone else's mission. I didn't pick it because everyone else was doing it. It's truly in my heart. So you've probably heard me say this before, for people to follow their own path, don't follow someone else's path, or you're gonna stay in bed and be like, oh my gosh, I have to do this.
You guys hear that?
Yeah.
If you do something you love, it's not work.
Yeah.
You're doing something you love every day.
And of
Really
course
important.
I have bad days. And of course I'm like, oh my gosh, this just happened. How am I going to get on stage? Or how am I going to walk into an event? And it's a shift. For me, it's a choice. Everything.
I had the same thing happen at one of my recent events. And, you know, after I'm in it and I'm doing my thing and then I feel better. And then that problem was gone because I realized, listen, like nothing is going to hold me down.
Yeah.
You know?
Getting out and moving. I've definitely called you guys before and had like 5 minutes of total venting and then realizing, okay,
moving on.
now I'm doing this.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you gotta get it off
You
your
gotta get
chest.
it out.
Yeah.
But you don't stay in it.
You don't stay it.
Yeah.
And that's the crippling part is when you stay.
Yeah.
Because it's not a place to stay. It's a place to maybe visit, expel, and then
Exactly.
When we were driving up here today, we did what? We did 8 minutes of meditation, release the negative, release all of this.
Get into gratitude and focus on that, you know?
Getting into gratitude. Yes.
What's your best piece of advice?
Yeah.
Oh,
For women that want to go do it and they don't know where to start, because starting is the hardest, scariest part of all.
It is. To remember that.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part. And once you get started, everything will start coming into alignment. And also what you tell yourself and what you believe is what you become. So for me, it's mindset and also who you surround yourself with. Just how we're talking about women, we have this thing, I don't know if it's society or how we were raised, like if your friend's down and they're in a bad mood and they're crying, like you sit on the floor with them and you cry with them. But really it's you give them your hand and you say, hey, I'm not going to let you do this anymore.
Right.
So we get to call each other forth as women. That's something that I'm really feeling so strong about right now is you get to have compassion, but you also get to tell people how it is and the truth and what you're experiencing of them because you love them so much.
Right. Love that.
Yeah.
That is good. And I mean, I have some friends in my life that are going through a really hard time right now. And like, what do you do? Like, how do you do that? Because I want to be there for them. I want to have compassion. But when is enough enough?
Yeah. How long do you stay on the floor?
Right. It's like,
you have to stay there. You have to stay there for a little bit.
yeah, you don't want to just be like not eating the Ben and Jerry's with them. Like, you know.
You just go to like press freeze or something and sit on the floor with them.
We're going to go out and have ice cream.
Do we have 1 hour we can
We're at least going to get out of the
Yeah.
house. So again, it comes down to mission. And you know in yourself when it's enough is enough. And that person maybe isn't on your path anymore. It's not that you don't want them to be there. You tell them that you love them, but if they're going to stay on the floor, you're up to big things,
Right.
and they
You
can
can't
come
stay
with
on the
you,
floor.
or they can stay there. And when they're ready, they can join you.
Okay. I freaking love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And, you know, for people listening in, I think they need to hear like from you because you have this like beautiful persona. You're doing all the big things in your life, but I know it hasn't been as easy for you.
Yeah.
Can you remember a time where you just said, you know what, I just want to throw in the towel. I just want to give up. Can you explain what was going on and then how you got out of it, but really let them understand like that you're not that different than all these people watching in. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not at all. Like every day I have those feelings at some point, especially when you're up to big things, you have those doubts. There's been so many moments, I can't just pick one, but for me, it's really been when you like have those loops of, I was working so hard and this doesn't seem to be working out. Like what is happening? And then you jump on social media and you see all the highlight reels and then you get all into that loop and you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Why am I even doing
Yeah.
this?
Why am I doing this? And that's the thing that goes down to choices. Like I will say that over and over because it's a choice. It doesn't mean you have to feel good. You might step outside and still feel like, what the heck? But you keep going. That's a choice. You have to be completely committed to your mission, to yourself, to your life, to the life that you want to have. It's about commitment.
So I know that there's people, because I talk to people all the time that listen into my podcast and they say, you know, I just don't know what my purpose is. So you're crystal clear on where you're going. I'm crystal clear. You are too. And most people, they go, I just don't even know. But I don't want to stay here.
But I remember not being crystal clear. So
Yeah.
I knew.
Right.
And I talk to people, so many people that aren't crystal clear. So I would ask, what's the first thing that you knew that lit you up at the youngest age?
Oh, okay.
And ask questions like that. It's like, oh, I wanted to be a performer. Okay, let's talk more about that. What did you envision for yourself? When did that stop? What stopped that dream? Why didn't you continue? So really asking yourself questions and asking someone that you trust, like, hey, will you sit down with me and go over this so I can figure it out?
Okay. Yeah.
Because we all had something that we wanted to do or that lit us up when we were younger.
That's right.
Every person has that.
I remember I used to want to be a lawyer so I could help single moms get child support.
Yeah. You can be a lawyer in California. You don't have to go to.
Do you? What?
Yeah, Kim Kardashian. I was just reading about it.
Can you?
No, you don't.
She
have to
always
go to-
knows these like
No.
weird facts. I'm like, what?
I learned them all from Twitter.
I'll be a lawyer.
Yeah.
No, you
Yes,
don't.
all of us
have
are going to be lawyers.
because there's news on there. It's like a news feed. But you don't have to go. You don't have to
lot
have
of people-
college education. You don't have to go to law school. You have to apprentice for 3 to 4 years, and if you have to pass the bar exam, which in California I believe it's one of the hardest bars. But if you do
Okay.
that, then you can be a lawyer in the state of California. I think
Yeah.
there's a few states with that. So
That's
you
good
go
to
get
know.
'em, girl.
Are we
I
all going to
might
be
still
taking
do
the
that
bar?
later.
But you know what's funny that you said that is you're doing
Right.
the actual outcome
totally.
of why you wanted to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
You're doing it in your life right now.
Yeah.
I'm helping like fight for other people to get what they want.
Yeah,
You know?
and you're helping other moms.
Oh yeah, totally.
So that's why I'm saying, like, what did you guys want to be when you were younger?
Yes,
Start
I
there.
love that. I love
Yeah.
that. And just journal about it like every single day to get clear.
Yeah,
You know?
journaling is a big one.
Getting it out of the head,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So one thing that I wanted to ask you, because I look at you and your husband Josh, and you guys are just so like happy and in love. And a lot of people, and I know it's not a show, it's real life. And both of you guys are up to big, huge things. And what do you do to keep your relationship so grounded? You know, so where all those big things aren't taking over.
Yeah, to have
Yeah.
both two big
Right.
careers. That's
To
a
have
lot.
both. And we're both very fortunate to have the mindset, like student for life mindset. Like we're always learning.
Talk about that. Yeah.
So neither one of us have the mindset of like, I already know that, or I'm not open to that. When I bring something up to Josh, he's curious about what I have to say, and he's not like, he doesn't shut it down, and vice versa. So it's really keeping that open mind and both being dedicated to our relationship coming first above all, but also to ourselves and personal development.
So staying curious is the key
Yeah.
to everything, really.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when you think you know it all, then there's no room for growth and you're going to be angry when it
Exactly.
doesn't go your way.
Exactly.
That's good.
Yeah, that would be our biggest thing in constant communication. Of course, we've had fights. Of
Right.
course, we don't
Yeah.
disagree at times, but we choose
Right.
to make it work. And we choose to figure out and know that there's always a better way and that we don't have all the answers all the time.
What would you say to somebody listening in right now that maybe they have a partner that isn't open to that? You know, it's their way or the highway.
Yeah.
What would you say?
So I have a few different things depending on the person that I'm talking to, but one thing would be that you continue and lead by example, and you spend 30 days lighting them up and watching them, the change in them. And then because you also get to look at yourself and see responsibility. Like, why are they angry? Of course, they have their own things from childhood that, or from their everyday, but also like, what am I doing? Because there is something that you're contributing to. Of course, you're with the person every day. Like, we're not perfect.
Right.
So taking responsibility and doing experiments. I'm all about experiments.
What
So
kind
for
of
like,
experiment?
no, like, well, you know,
I think you gotta experiment.
Yeah,
you gotta
like-
keep it fresh.
you're like,
I know. So I'm like, what kind?
you're like, whoa, I see what you're saying. Yeah, those experiments too. But no, I'm just kidding. But experiments, like, I'm going to spend 15 days and I'm going to just light him up. If he says something that is like, hurts my feelings, I'm going to meet it with love and see the shift in the person.
Yeah, because if you're coming from a place of love, it's hard for them to come back in a place of negative.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to fight. It's hard to fight love.
Yeah, and if you did that for 15 days, even though it's probably people are listening, they're like, I can't do that for 15 days.
That's a
You
choice.
get to do that for 15 days.
It's gonna be with everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's really important because I know you don't have children yet, but to have that, I mean, I got pregnant on my honeymoon.
Yeah.
So it was like off the ground running. And, you know, you sound like this is so positive and you're building such a great foundation with your husband.
Yes.
And I love it.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
love it.
But yes, next time I'm here and when we do have kids, I'll probably be asking you guys a lot of questions. But one thing for that is the preparing for everything.
Yeah.
Everything that we're stepping into, if we're opening another company or like one of the companies is getting to another level, like we talk about it first.
Right.
And we make commitments.
What is this going to
beforehand.
look like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like some people don't even have those conversations about little things and big things in their relationship, or they're scared to. And it's like you get to find out now rather than 20 years down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I had
And
a faith marital coach, and he said the one thing was to put your spouse before anything else. And that's how it works.
Yeah.
Right?
I think like what you're saying mainly, the point is communication.
Yes.
Over communicate with your friends, with your business partners, with the person that you're in love with. Like you can't communicate enough, you know? And so I'm so glad that you were on the show today. And
I love you guys. Thank you.
yeah, it was so much fun. We'll talk more about experiments later.
Yes. Offline.
But
Just kidding, not those experiments.
I think everybody listening in, like the women supporting women, we can all adopt that mindset and say, how can we support somebody else today?
Yes. Yes, that's good.
Yeah.
So every day when you wake up, say your affirmations, like also how could I help another woman?
Yeah.
Especially if you're struggling with that in your life.
Exactly.
Make it even more of a point to experiment.
Yeah, so we like to leave our viewers with a challenge, a call to action, and I think that's pretty much what it would be from you.
Yeah.
Because we like, you know, for people to leave with something that they can do and implement. And I think that your affirmations, your call to action. So if you want to like,
what's your affirmation
that
to leave
again,
them with so they can upgrade their life?
Why is this happening for me?
Ooh.
So for the next week, when something happens that you didn't necessarily choose to happen and you're like, I don't love this, sit down and say, why is this happening for me? What can I do to learn from this?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, why is this happening for me? Well, thanks you guys for tuning in today. We had so much fun with Sarah Pendrick. Make sure you follow her on all the socials because she puts out some really great content. And remember to support another woman today. And remember to go out there and upgrade your life.